Something that frustrates a lot of producers when they're building their business is when people reach out and just want a collab because, well, usually that means, hey, will you do something for free for me? So today in this video, I'm going to show you how to turn a collab into potentially a client, something that my consulting clients brought up, the producers that I work with, is something, hey, Dan, what do we do in this situation when someone wants to collab? All right. Before I dive too deep into this, just a heads up, there's a download underneath, there's a link for a download underneath this video. It's the entire framework for this and it's in much more detail. It's like literally what to say. So I'm going to cover the basics in this. Go ahead and download that so that you can actually use this and implement it into your business. So the first thing that I want to mention is when someone, reaches out, generally the first reaction from a producer, not everyone, but most producers are frustrated by it because they just immediately go to this place of, this is just someone hitting me up because they want something for free. And the first step to this is cleaning your brain of that attitude, being frustrated. There's very little things in business where we need to be frustrated at something, okay? Especially right out of the gate. I want you to go ahead and change that into be like, okay, cool. Let me see how I can help this person. Let me see if I can help this person, all right? Because although in a lot of scenarios, a collab can mean, hey, do something for free, but not always, okay? Maybe someone just doesn't know, or they think that's the only option, or they're just not educated on it. Or the other caveat is sometimes you may want to do a collaboration. I'm definitely not someone that preaches never do a collaboration. Now, that doesn't mean you're doing something for free. Generally, when you're doing a collaboration, it means that it's a two-way street, right? Maybe there is an artist or a project that it makes sense for you to collaborate with them. You would get something out of it. They would get something out of it. You're at equal levels, or maybe they're a little bit ahead of you. So it's a cool opportunity for you. And in that sense, a collaboration can absolutely make sense, okay? Caveat to that is, I deal with this with my guys a lot, you have to balance that, all right? You can't just be only doing collaborations if you're trying to build a production company where you have clients paying you for work. If your model is, hey, I'm gonna work my day job and I'm only just gonna collaborate with artists that I wanna work with, that we can build stuff together, that's fine, but my channel is for people that wanna build a production business, okay? So that's just the quick little caveat. So what to do when someone reaches out about a collaboration? This is kind of just a simple framework that you can follow. Essentially what you're trying to look at is say, okay, what is this artist trying to do? Where are they at now? Where are they trying to get to? And is a collaboration really going to be the best way for them to get that? Whether it's a collaboration with me or someone else. That's kind of how you have to be thinking about this, all right? Most of the time they're going to come in through, through a chat, DM, whatever. Hey, can I collab? The first thing that you want to ask is take a look at, their past releases. First of all, thank them, all right? Thank them for reaching out. That's not a hard thing to do. It's a nice thing to do. Like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Appreciate it. Can I hear some of your, most recent releases or most recent release? This one lets you know, kind of where they're at. If you check out this artist and they send you their Spotify and every track on there has millions of plays, well, maybe this is someone you want to collaborate with. Maybe that would make sense. Or, you just want to kind of first figure out where they're at. So if they don't have any releases, that's something you're going to want to know for later because, you want to educate them, say, hey, probably not the best way to start. it's just going to take a while, that you don't have a lot to bring to the table yet. Or if they have some releases and they're doing okay, again, that's fine. You just sort of need to figure out where they're at, and you can just do that right in the chat. All right. Another thing that's kind of interesting that I like to do, or that I have my guys do, is find out, why me? And there's a more graceful way to say this. Again, the download underneath this video has all this laid out in a bit more detail. But essentially, like, oh, cool, like, just curious, what motivated you to want to, connect with me on this? Because they may be like, oh, I just really love your stuff. It's so sick, blah, blah, blah. And that's great. You can use that. You can use that for later. It shows that they are interested in you doing their stuff. That's a good sign. But you just want to get an idea. Thank them for reaching out. Hey, let me check out your stuff. That lets you know where they're at in their process. We call it like client sophistication level. Basically, a fancy way of saying how experienced is this person. Is it this going to be a two-way street, or is it me just basically doing something for free for them? As a favor? Probably not much that's going to come back to me, right? And then the third thing is why you? Why are they reaching out to you? I like to know that, okay? Now, the next step, which most people don't take it to this, if you know anything about me, I think producers, audio pros, especially on the internet, do way too much chatting on the internet and not enough like getting on the phone with someone or Skype with someone. It changes everything. Not related to this video, but sort of. If you're trying to do like your sales process all over email or text or whatever, cut that out. You'll get paid way more and have a higher rate of people working with you if you get them on the phone. Okay. Believe me, we've tested all the ways. So once you've kind of asked those first three or done those first three things in the chat, want to say, cool, well, hey, let's grab a call. Let's hop on the phone and see what's up. All right. On this call, basically what you're trying to do, and again, the download underneath the video will go into more detail, kind of step by step, question by question. You're trying to essentially figure out like where they are with things right now. What's going on with things, okay? What are they working on? What have they been doing? And then you're trying to find out next, basically, where, what's next for them? What's the goal? What are they trying to accomplish next, okay? There's also a way, this is important, there's a way where you need to start the call in a way that kind of like takes leadership. That's in the download. But I won't go into it for now, but there's a way to start this. But essentially, we're trying to figure out, okay, cool, let's chat with this artist. What's going on, man? Like, where are you at with things? Going into next, what's the goal? What are you trying to accomplish, okay? And then what I want to ask them is, like, okay, cool, like, I get it. Sounds like a plan. You've been doing this. Here's what you're trying to do next. Then I want to ask, why a collaboration? Versus hiring a producer to help you do this. This kind of gets them to think about why they want to do a collaboration. Because you may find out that maybe that's just the terminology they know. Maybe that doesn't mean they don't. There's been so many instances where one of my producers has gotten on the phone with someone and they were willing to pay. They just said collab. That's the term they knew, okay? So you want to kind of make it clear here that, like, one, you do client work, right? And two, kind of finding out why this is the direction they want to go. Because if you explain to them that, hey, this doesn't make the most sense, then they kind of know what you're talking about, right? So make them think about, or make them answer this. Why collab versus hiring a producer? Let's say, hey, well, listen, man, I'm looking for a collaborator because we're going to blow up and they'll have it on, they'll get stuff on the back end or whatever. And then you can explain to him, well, listen, like, there's really no evidence of that yet based on what you've done and what you're trying to do. It's a good goal, but I haven't really heard like a roadmap as to how you're going to make that happen. Of course, it's a lottery. Anyone could have a song blow up for sure, but I have to I'm here to just help you make the best decision for getting this done correctly for yourself. Okay. But maybe it's like, hey, pricing's a thing or budget's a thing or, blah, blah, blah. They're going to have some kind of reason as to why collab versus hiring a producer. Or they'll say, oh, well, that's an option too. What do you charge? In that case, you can go into that. But that's the next question. So basically what you're trying to determine at this point is, will a collaboration help them get what they want? And it might. If it makes sense for them to do that, whether with you or with someone else, tell them. Be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. This is what I would do. Don't just always try to get a project just because you want one. This is still a process of helping them figure out what's best for them. It's just in most cases, a collab is probably not what's best. So next we usually kind of follow this up with like a statement like this. The problem is, most artists, they spend so much time trying to find that perfect producer who's actually going to do the collaboration. And then once they find one, the producer really isn't incentivized to do it. So then it takes long. And by that point, you've just kind of lost money. You could have had a song out there already working for you and, booking shows, on to the next song, building fans. Like the slow way is usually the most expensive way, waiting months or six months, a year, trying to get this collaboration finished, which most of collaborations just rarely get finished because there's not much incentive. And then they just like wasted all that time, which actually costs them money. And that's kind of what you want to explain, because generally that's what it comes down to. It's like a budget thing. So I'm just trying to find someone to collab. It's like, well, you're actually losing money by doing it the slow way. By the time you actually make this work and find a producer who's willing to, just basically do you a favor. You're essentially just asking for a favor, which is just not to say no one will do it for you. I'm not the fit to do it for you, but someone might, but it will probably take a long time to find them, and then actually getting them to do it's a whole nother thing. Okay. So if you're kind of serious about the goals that you were mentioning earlier, then to me, it's just not the best way. I wouldn't want to do the collaboration. I don't think it's the best way for you to do it. I think you should hire a producer. It doesn't have to be me, but I'm just giving you what I think you should do to solve your problem. Hire a producer, get it done, get into the market, and get towards your goal, So they may have different sort of, things that they bring up. And in the download below the video, I kind of talk about that. But in general, that's kind of what it comes down to. It's about like making them realize that a collab is not going to get them what they want. And if they've done collaborations in the past, they'll probably even understand that more, because the reality is that, yeah, shit probably took a long time or they didn't get what they want. There's a reason they're reaching out to you. If they collaborated with someone else and it was just amazing, then why would they be reaching out to you? I mean, why wouldn't they just keep doing that? Because it's working. So what I tell my producers that I consult is find out what's not working for them, because that's number one. And then two, the collaboration is probably not going to be the solution. It's no different from any other conversation you're having with an artist. It's what's broken, what's going on, what's the best way to fix it, and that's the advice I'm going to give, or that's what I'm going to recommend to you. And what you'll find is that a lot of people say, hey, that makes sense. I'm gonna do that. I have a screenshot up here of one of my clients, Adam, who landed a project with a rap artist. It's like, yeah, $1,700 project. Same kind of thing. Same thing. People reached out, hey, you want to collab? He walked them through the process of, hey, here's what you're trying to do. Why don't we just do that? Don't waste time trying to find collaborators. Like, I can help you with that. Let's move. And that's really how it works. So don't be frustrated. Look at this as an opportunity to help someone and figure it out. And if what you have is what they need, then a lot of times they'll become a client. Now, they won't every time, but at the least, they come off of this call feeling like they've at least been helped, and you were honest and transparent and helped them, and that could lead to a client in the future, or, you know, a recommendation from them in the future. So one last thing that I want to mention here is a lot of producers like have these cool like trendy profiles and stuff and all this shit, but like there's no like indication that you charge, like you're a producer that charges for work and does this for a living. Okay. Some of you watching this, you know, you have that up there, but we call this priming when I work with a client. It needs to be just keep in mind, this is going to sort of help. And this is something that you do hopefully before people start hitting you up for collabs. One, it actually may deter some of them, but two, it at least like helps set the tone a little bit better. You need to make it clear that you work with clients. You know, it could be as simple as like in your bio on Instagram or somewhere it says, you know, for client inquiries, you know, click this link, or, you know, whatever, to book a project, hire me for this, you know, just like some indication, like post about, hey, here's a client I'm working with. Like, you got to kind of make it clear that you work with clients. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, download the framework underneath this video. There's a link that has like way more detail and literally will take you through almost like a script, kind of take you through the process. So enjoy that. Hope you are staying safe with all this crazy virus stuff going on. I'm going to try to drop some more videos for you since everyone's got time to watch videos. And yeah, we'll see you next time.